Hello and welcome to my manga haul for March of 2023. Hello. And this month I have 25 volumes including 3 light novels. So I went slightly over the limit this month. I'm mainly started to stick to like 20 volumes. But yeah, I went slightly over this month. But anyway, I think we'll start with the light novels, shall we? Okay, first up, I have something here called Rowan Wants Let Out the Bedroom. 2 seconds. There you go. First up, I have something here called Bride at the Barrier Master, and this is it's a new shoujo light novel, and no pictures in this one. But we follow this girl here called Hannah, and she, in this world, it's modern day Japan, but there's barrier masters, and they protect these barriers that are around. And Hannah is from a branch family connected to the family of barrier masters, and her twin sister is very special, and she envies her. But then one day Hannah awakens to a power of her own, and this guy here called Saku, is that his name, decides he wants a strong wife, and so he wants to marry her. So she's made to marry him, and now they have to protect these barriers. So yeah, it's a shoujo light novel that isn't an isekai, which aren't that common, so I wanted to check it out. Next up in this stack, I have another light novel. Here we have The Abandoned Heiress Gets Rich with Alchemy and Scores an Enemy General, and this is published by something I've never heard of before called Cross Infinite World. I've never had any of their light novels before, but I had this on my list when I saw it was released digitally, but I don't like reading digital. So when I saw this was getting a print release, I grabbed it because somebody mentioned somewhere that this has one of my favourite shoujo tropes in it, which is enemies to lovers, and so I just had to pick it up. I'm not the biggest fan of the font on this back cover. And we follow Chloe, and Chloe used to be an heiress, but she was her engagement was annulled, and she then goes to start working as an alchemy shop and making potions and stuff. And then I think she hires this guy to be her bodyguard, and he's an enemy general or something. That's the description anyway. Julius is the former general of an enemy kingdom, dubbed the Black Prince, physical nature and cold-heartedness. And and he kind of helps her find alchemy ingredients and stuff. I'm not sure whether this is a one-shot or not because there's no volume number on here, but this one does have some pictures in it. So yeah, I like the sound of that one, so I grabbed that. And last up for the light novels is The Raven of the Inner Palace, which also no pictures in this one. But I watched the anime to this one recently on Crunchyroll, and I really liked it. It was very good. This is a josei, historical fantasy series about this girl here. I've forgotten her name. I think it's Suisha. I'm not 100% sure. But she is the Raven consort, and she lives in the Inner Palace, but despite being a consort, she doesn't tend to the Emperor or anything like that. And she's very mysterious, and people use her to solve mysteries relating to ghosts and the supernatural. She finds lost objects, and she helps lost souls cross over and something like that. And I really liked the anime, and I wanted to know more. So yeah, I picked up the light novel. So that's Raven of the Inner Palace. So that is all of the light novels, and now we're moving on to the manga. First up, I have the second volume of Tokyo Aliens by Mao He, I think it said. It's the same author who did Our X Machine Gun, which is why I have my eye on this one, because I really like Our X Machine Gun. Anyway, this is a shonen series about aliens. Like, there's this guy called, I forget his name, but he comes across this other guy who's a member of this organization who, like, fights aliens and, like, helps aliens, and he, like, ends up joining with the organization. It's like an action battle sort of series with aliens. But I know this author writes like good characters from reading Our X Machine Gun, so I definitely, and I did enjoy the first volume. Next up, I have the final volume of Cast Heaven, Volume 8. This is the conclusion to the series. It says right there, final volume. The series is very messed up, but I do enjoy it. And now it's finally at the ending. And I can find out how the series ends. I've read nothing in this pile, by the way. I'm very behind on my reading at the minute, and I need to catch up with the stuff I bought last haul. I've only got like 2 volumes left to get through from that haul, and then I can start on this. Yeah, that's Cast Heaven Volume 8, a completed series. I love completing series. It's so good. Next up, I have these next 4 are all new BL one-shots, so I have A Home Far Away. I've heard this one is quite dark, and I have been recommended it by a couple of people, and I do like my dark BL. So, we follow... I do not like the way this text is set out on the back of this volume. An escape drama to a peaceful place to call home. It's 1990 in the United States, and a young man named Alan grows tired of feeling trapped under the watchful eyes of his strict, overprotective parents. His life, if you can consider it one, felt meaningless until the day he meets the free-spirited Hayden and falls madly in love. Unfortunately, Hayden's is a drifter, never to be tied down to any one place. To be with Hayden, Alan must escape his family, but that would mean that Hayden would be able to kidnap her and sentenced to a life on the run. Despite this, Hayden would sacrifice everything to save Alan from this hell. To others, they appear to be fleeing down the path of escape, but to the two of them, they are travelling on the road back to a home far away. So basically, he wants to escape, and he ends up going on a journey with this guy. But I have heard it's quite dark, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Next up, I have Scrambles. This is a Tokyo Pop one-shot, which is why I picked it up. I'm pretty sure this one's about music. Like, these two people and, like, create a CD or something like that. It's definitely about music. Yeah, I can open this one. It's nothing explicit. Yeah, it's Scrambles. Next up, I have The Snake Who Loved a Sparrow. Now, I'm going to have to be careful when I open this one, because this one is 18+. But there's some art. This is a fantasy-like one-shot about a snake who saves a sparrow from danger, and they end up falling for each other, but they can't really be together because, like, snakes eat sparrows and stuff like that. But yeah, this one definitely sounded interesting. And then the last of the one-shots is The Flower That Seems to Truly Dance. I really love the cover for this one. It's so nice. This one's probably the one out of the 3 Tokyo Pop ones, this is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. This one's about dancing. It takes place in 1941. And he's like a soldier, I think. And he falls for a dancer. Something like that. But I do really like the cover art on this one. And the inside art is nice too. Yeah, that is The Flower That Seems to Truly Dance. Next up is Sasaki Amino Volume 7. I do like the colours on this cover. They are very nice. These dark blues. They're continuing with Sasaki Amino. It's a cute, fluffy BL series. And between a Fudanchi who's very into BL and this guy who takes an interest in him, this is a sweet one. There's nothing explicit or anything like that. And this is volume 7. And we are actually now past when the anime ended. So that's good. Find out what happens next. Next up is volume 7 of Mint Chocolate. This is a step siblings romance series. They became step siblings after they started liking each other, and plus they became step siblings as teenagers. They didn't grow up together, so I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm only against step sibling romances if they grew up together and were raised together as siblings. But if they became step siblings when they're older and they never thought of each other as a sibling beforehand, and they also had feelings before they were step siblings, then I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, so I'm perfectly fine with this one. Yeah, that's Mint Chocolate. This is volume 7 and I am enjoying this series. Next up is I'm continuing Mao. He is volume 9. These seem to come out very quickly. I think I have one of these every haul, or maybe every other haul, something like that, but these are releasing very quickly. And this is volume 9. This is Umiko Takahashi's new series. Next up, I have Seraph at the End 26. It feels like ages ago since we had a volume of Seraph at the End, and I really like Seraph at the End. I can't really explain what's been going on in the plot in recent volumes without heavily spoiling it. But Seraph at the End it's about vampires, or at least it was in the beginning. But yeah, I really like Seraph at the End. It's one of my favourite shonen series. And each volume does come with a mini poster, but I do take them out, so it's not in there anymore. But yeah, I do enjoy Seraph at the End, and it feels like forever ago since we got a volume. It also feels like forever ago since we got a volume of the Goran Ichinose prequel manga. Not manga, light novel. The Goran Ichinose Resurrection at 19 light novel, which is the sequel to Catastrophe at 16. We've got 2 volumes in English, and it feels like forever since we've last had one, and I don't know when the next one of those is actually out. But I do enjoy those as well. Next, continuing with Yona at the Dawn, volume 38. This back cover connects with the previous back cover to make a bigger picture. We have Hack on the side and then Yona on the other. But yeah, I really love Yona at the Dawn. It's fantastic. I do tend to like my fantasy shoujos in general, as long as they're not isekais. Well, depending. I'm not a big fan of villainess isekai. It's just not my thing. But shoujo isekais that are not villainess, kind of like The Saint's Magic Tower is Omnipotent and Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World and ones like that I'm okay with. I just don't tend to enjoy the villainess ones all that much. So here is Yona volume 38. Next up, I have another fantasy shoujo series, which I'm super enjoying, and that is The King's Beast by Ray Toma, same author as Dawn of the Arcana. And I have heard, there's a tiger, that this volume is the first one that kind of crosses over with Dawn of the Arcana, because there's a character in here who was first introduced in Dawn of the Arcana. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know which character, but I have read Dawn of the Arcana, so I should recognise them, and I have some idea as to who it might be. But yeah, I don't actually know yet, because I haven't actually, and I shouldn't be showing that back cover because it's kind of spoilery. But yeah, I have some idea who the crossover character might be, but I'm looking forward to finding out because I really love this series. And here we have yet another fantasy shoujo series with Prince Freya. I do really like this one too. I probably prefer King's Beast and Yona more than this one, but I do still like this one as well. Apart from Julius. This dude here. I really do not like him at all. But Alexei's on the cover of this one. Yeah, this is like more of a... Like, this one's set more in ancient China. Yoda the Dawn's also set like ancient Korea, ancient China sort of times. Whereas this one's more European setting. It's more like like a fantasy, like European fantasy sort of setting. Yeah, Prince Freya. This is volume 8, and I have talked about Prince Freya a lot in previous hauls. Next up is another continuation of one of my favourite series, and that is Queen's Quality Volume 16. I love Queen's Quality, it's great. This one is kind of a fantasy-esque shoujo as well. Although it's not like typical fantasy, like fantasy, it's more like urban, supernatural fantasy. Yeah, love Queen's Quality. And excited to continue. And I think the series is ending soon. I think it was posted on Twitter that this series is coming to an end soon. I feel like it's in its... Well, not... It's in its final arc. Its final arc could last anywhere from 1 volume to like 5 volumes, so I don't actually know how many volumes it's going to have total. I just know that's coming to its final arc soon. Which is kind of a shame because I love the series, but also kind of good at the same time because I don't want it to go on forever, because series that go on too long can get a bit stale. So I'm glad that it's not going to be like excessively long, but also it's a decent run. Next up, another one of my favourites, and that's Lobster Kelly Volume 8. Again, I absolutely love this series. It's like high school romance. And I love Eri, she's a great main character. I don't know who this dude is. Is this her father? I think it might be her father. But yeah. Lobster Kelly's great. And the series ends at 12 volumes, so I'm nearly there now with 8. 4 more to go. 4 more to go. And then it will be done. Next up in the haul is Vampire Doratory Volume 9. This is a very trashy series. It's not well written. The story's not great, but I can't help but love it. Sometimes you just need to read a bit of vampire trash, and this is certainly vampire trash. The art's very nice though. The art is very nice. The art is probably one of the best parts. But yeah, Vampire Doratory Volume 9. Next up, I have Volume 2 of Usatoki Rhetoric. This is a mystery shoujo series about a girl who can hear lies, and she leaves her village because of this. People sort of not liking her very much because she can hear these lies. And she starts working for this detective here and helping him solve crimes, because obviously her ability is very useful in the detective world. No, they team up together to start solving crimes. And yeah, it's good. I really enjoyed Volume 1. It's a nice, I tend to like mysteries, and this is a nice sort of twist on a mystery, and I like it a lot. Next up, I have Volume 5 of Island in a Puddle, and this is the final volume. This is complete now at 5 volumes. And I'm really enjoying this series a lot. And I'm looking forward to finding out how it ends, especially after Volume 4. But yeah, this is a mystery thriller series about 2 kids, Nagisa and the other one. What's his name? Minato. And their mother kind of leaves them. 90% of the time they're home alone, they're living by themselves, their mother's off working somewhere making money. Occasionally she'll pop back for a day or two, but not very often, so they're basically abandoned kids. And one day the mother pops back for one of her infrequent visits, gives them some money, takes them to the theme park, sits them on the Ferris wheel, and then leaves. And then somebody else, who's also on the Ferris wheel as well with them, not in the same pod thing, but he's on the Ferris wheel as well. And then like lightning strikes the Ferris wheel and something happens that will make these their lives like intertwine and stuff. And I don't really want to say much more because I think it's best going in if you don't know. But yeah, I really do enjoy this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends. Next up, volume 13 of Something's Wrong With Us, and this one's quite fat. It's like, compared to a regular manga, it's probably not, but compared to the usual Something's Wrong With Us volumes, this is one of the fatter ones. I think it's because there's an extra story in here. That is adverts. No, I don't want to point the camera on it just in case spoilers. But I absolutely love this series, it's fantastic, but yeah. Something's Wrong With Us the TV drama studio tour report or something. And yeah, I think like there's an extra. I'm pretty sure there was an extra story in here. I'm pretty sure there was. Yeah, there is a special story side chapter. Yojima's Resolve. There is a side story. That's probably why it's thicker. Yeah, I love Something's Wrong With Us. They always end on a cliffhanger, and I always need the next one. And after I finish catching up with what I'm currently reading from last tour, this is probably the first thing that's going to be absorbed into my brain. I just need to know more. Or maybe I should save it, because if I save it, the longer I put off reading it, the closer to the next volume coming out it will be. Anyway, next I have Outbride Beauty and the Beast. This is another like trashy one. It's very quite sexual. We follow this girl here. She's I think 17. She wakes up like years and years in the future, and there's beast men everywhere, and she's one of the last humans, and there's this like evil thing awakening, and in order to stop it, they need powerful babies. So these 4 beast men are like, we all need to have your children because we're like 4 of the most powerful beast men, and we need to have even more powerful children who are strong enough to take on this like evil force. So we need to impregnate you basically. And she kind of gets to choose which one of them she wants to have babies with first. But she's going to have to do it with all of them. But she's scared. She's just woken up here. She must realise that the world's basically gone. Everything she knew, everyone she knew is dead. And yeah, she really doesn't want to be doing this, but she kind of has to. This is a steamship title, by the way. Next up, I have Marmalade Boy, Collector's Edition 1. Now, this is a re-release of a very old classic shoujo from, I think, the 90s or possibly the 80s. Now, I've never watched the anime for this, and I've never read the original manga, so, this would be my first time experiencing Marmalade Boy. My niece has actually watched the anime for this one, though, and she said it was quite weird. But there's some colour pages. So we have, I don't remember the names, but her parents come to her one day and tell her that they're getting divorced because they've met another couple whilst I think they were on a cruise, and they fell in love with each other's partners. So they're deciding to divorce each other and get married. Her father's getting married to his mother, and his father's getting married to her mother. So they decided they're all going to live together in one big house and be one family. So the 4 parents move in together, the 2 kids move in together, and she ends up falling for him. Again, it's step-siblings again, but again, they weren't step-siblings before this. And then they all end up living together, and apparently it's very 90s, and I'm looking forward to giving it a read. I've never experienced Marmalade Boy before, but maybe we'll get more classics if this one sells well enough. And last in this haul and in this pile and in this video, we have Rochi Volume 3. This is a horror series of short stories revolving around a woman called Rochi and her different experiences with different people. I think this one contains 2 short stories in this one. I think Volume 1 had 2, Volume 2 had 3, this one has 2, and I think Volume 4 also had 2. I think Volume 4 is the last one. But Stage, and Combat. Yeah, this is Kazuo Umez. He's like one of the horror classics And I know Cat Eye Boy is getting a re-release soon, and I'm going to be picking that one up as well, because I do like horror manga, and I did like Dissolving Classroom, and I have been enjoying Rochi as well. So yeah, that is it for this haul. A full 25 volumes, and yes. Anyway, that is it for the haul, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back again for another video. Either another haul at the end of next month, or if I think of something between then, I will do it. So anyway, bye for now, and goodbye.